So I'm sitting here working on this sketch, and I had some background music on. I was listening to Mini Small. It keeps bothering me because it keeps coming up. So people are like, well, how do you find your style? And especially with the tattooing. It seems to be like a perpetual question that's always coming up. How do you find your style? Like, your style is sort of just the character of your art. And then I started thinking about whether or not people understand what character is. Because I get the feeling from the way that people speak about things and how people act, it's that sort of disingenuous, not that they're being disingenuous on purpose, but they got this idea of somebody that they want to be, they're inspired by. The same thing with the art. And instead of figuring out who they are and what they want to do, they're just trying to emulate something that they saw. I'm not even saying that there's anything wrong with that, but if you sacrifice understanding who you are and just going after this idealized thing, you're never going to have that baseline. You're never going to develop as a person. You'll just be someone who's pretending to be something else. So I'm sure everybody does it at least a little bit. It's sort of the nature of being a social being. But like, if you don't go out and experience things, if you don't know what you're like in a panic situation, like when things really happen, something really actually happens, and you don't know how you're going to react, you have an idea of how you want to react, but you don't actually know what your brain's going to do. Or general social situation, pick anything, like literally anything. You're under pressure from something. How do you handle stress? How do you handle elation? If you're asked to speak on the spot in a public place, what are you going to do? And that's who you are. That's your character. And you can develop that and you can work within yourself once you understand your baseline parameters. But you can't just take off from the start line under a false pretense of something that you saw in a movie and be like, well, I want to be like Iron Man, because you have no idea what your underlying issues, or maybe you're even better than that to begin with, and you'll never know if you don't go out and experience things in that realness and being honest about who you are. And it's the exact same thing with art. Well, you want to develop a style, and you've got these ideas about who and what you want your style to be, but you haven't just sat down and done drawings from life and found out what your brain does when you're trying to bring through something into the world and show your version of it. You don't have your baseline to know what you're working with. You have no idea what's in your toolbox. You're just pretending to do something. Like, I see people all the time trying to emulate a style. Alphonse Mucha. And, well, Yogi Berra is his own thing. Realism is realism, and then his cartoon versions are, well, that's okay, regardless. But yeah, if you're starting off like you want to find your style, and you haven't even discovered what the innate part is yet, or like what you're capable of, what on earth are you hoping to gain from that? It's such a waste of time. Absolute waste of time. I know. I've been there and done it. I thought that I wanted to do things a certain way. Yeah, I was wrong. That's not how I work at all. And it was only by drawing from life and free drawing and free painting, and you gotta get familiar with your materials too. Like, this is all basic stuff, but it takes literally years of work to get down to that level and really understand who you are and how you operate before you go trying to mess with it and put a veneer on top of it. You can tell people who do it because their art looks fake. That's a lot of what I see online. I think deviant art bless that site, but I really think that that was just full of people who saw like Invader Zim in anime and trashed whatever chance they had of like delving in and seeing what their style of art was and just did somebody else's. A lot of them still do. They never came out of it. And it's like, there's an art form to it and that's cool, but are they ever going to figure out what their inborn, like what their imagination and what their version of art is? Because it took me, I did that in high school. I just wanted to draw like Pikachu, and God, what a waste, man. Years, just years of like overriding my internal vision and going with some stylized stuff because I was excited by it and I thought that's what I wanted to do, and never would have come up with something like this. This is a little stylized, but this is like, you know, this is straight out of my head. I didn't look at anything except for one drawing also that I had done for the snake pattern because I liked it. I just think about how much time I wasted trying to do art like somebody else. And it's like, well, maybe my stuff won't be cool enough. I thought that a lot. A lot. I thought, you know, maybe my stuff is just trash. Like, I'm not good enough, so I'll just emulate this other style. Ugh. You have to work through that phase. And if you don't do it now, you're going to have to do it eventually, or else you're never going to figure out what in the heck you're capable of. You know, it's like sports. If you don't try everything and find out what it is that your body's attuned to, like maybe you're a runner and maybe you're a weightlifter. Both. I don't know. Rock climber? Like, unless you go out and try it. Unless you train your body and find out what you actually like doing, you're never going to know. Alright. I guess I'm done ranting. But yeah, if you want to find your style, literally just draw things from life and then just draw things out of your head. Like, don't look at something and copy it. That's never going to help you do anything ever except for copy somebody else's style. It's worthless. Seriously. Okay.